Hello everyone and welcome back to me, Shiva Wilson, and my channel which is all about legalizing adult use cannabis in the UK. Now today, backed by popular demand, and by popular I mean one subscriber said yeah, do a second part, backed by popular demand, Stardawg Trek, episode 2. So in this interesting mashup of Star Trek and cannabis legalization, the crew of the Starship Enterprise deal with recreational marijuana legalization on board. How does this new policy change affect their duties, and what might happen if things go awry? Find out in today's episode of Stardawg Trek. Here we go. Phasers set to stun, people. Scene: a conference room on the USS Enterprise D. The room is softly illuminated with the starfield visible through the large view screen. Seated at a round table are Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Commander William Riker, Chief Medical Officer Dr. Beverly Crusher, and Lieutenant Commander Data. The mood is contemplative as they discuss a new proposal regarding cannabis use aboard the ship. Captain Picard says, steepling his fingers thoughtfully, "Thank you all for joining me. As you're aware, the use of medical cannabis for purposes of medical use is already established in our practice. However, I believe it is time we consider the potential implications of legalizing it for recreational use on the Enterprise. I am keen to hear your thoughts." Commander Riker leans back in his chair pondering. "I can see the benefits, Captain. Allowing the crew access to recreational cannabis could promote relaxation and reduce stress. We spend a lot of time on duty, and every bit of relief could enhance their productivity and morale." Dr. Beverly Crusher nodding in agreement. "I completely support the idea of relaxation methods for our crew, especially during long missions. However, we must consider what legalization would entail. We need regulations on quantity, usage, and potential impacts on performance. I would advocate for education on responsible use." Data, tilting his head slightly. "Captain, while the potential for relaxation is apparent, we must also evaluate the physiological effects of cannabis on human biology. Some individuals may have negative reactions or contraindications, but possibly affecting their duties." Captain Picard. "Excellent point, Mr. Data. We would need comprehensive guidelines and educational programs for the crew. What do you see as potential drawbacks?" Riker shrugging. "Well, there's always the risk of dependency. People may use it in excess, which could impair their duties or judgment. If we implement this, we must monitor its use carefully." Dr. Crusher interjects. "Not to mention the concern of how cannabis might affect the ship's operations. We need to establish where and when it's acceptable to use it. Perhaps in designated recreational areas such as during holodeck relaxation programs, as you mentioned earlier." Data activates his positronic brain to compute. "There could be adverse effects on mental acuity, especially in critical situations. However, one might argue that the majority of species, like betazoids, who are in tune with emotions, use such methods for relief without significant drawbacks. Perhaps it varies by individual." Captain Picard nodding thoughtfully. "All valid concerns. We must take a holistic approach. If we move forward with this legislation, we need to ensure that any use of cannabis does not interfere with operational responsibilities. However, could structured relaxational recreational use aid in team cohesion or morale building?" Riker smiling. "I dare say opening up holodeck sessions for relaxation, a kind of cannabis experience package, could bond the crew closer both socially and emotionally." Dr. Crusher. "I do believe having a trustworthy environment will crucially support this idea. If it can be approached with respect and responsibility, it can serve as a valuable asset to our crew's well-being." Data says conclusively, "If we prioritize education and safety protocols and monitor its effects diligently, the potential benefits may outweigh the drawbacks." Captain Picard nodding resolutely. "Very well. It seems we have a framework to proceed. I shall present our proposal to Starfleet Command. highlighting the responsible management of this initiative and its potential benefits for the well-being of our crew. Thank you all for your insights. The meeting concludes with a sense of unity. The camera slowly pans out to reveal the stars beyond the view screen, symbolizing the endless possibilities that lie ahead for the Enterprise. Fade out as the iconic Star Trek theme begins to play, which I can't do for copyright reasons. Scene: the 10 Forward Lounge on the USS Enterprise D. The lounge is vibrant and lively. The crew members are enjoying their newfound ability to use recreational cannabis. The atmosphere is relaxed with soft music playing in the background. Guinan is serving drinks while Worf sits with a frown, observing his colleagues with a blend of curiosity and disdain. Data is seated at a table, intentionally watching and learning from the interactions of the crew. Geordie LaForge and Chief O'Brien are having a light-hearted conversation, passing around a beautifully designed vaporizer meant for cannabis use. Geordie LaForge laughs, exhaling a puff of vapor. I can't believe we're actually doing this. It's like I'm on a whole new ship. I feel like I'm starting to see the stars in a new light. Chief O'Brien chuckles. I don't know, Geordie. For some of us, seeing the stars as they are is enough. Glances at Worf. But I must admit, it has made things more interesting around here. Worf, crossing his arms, visibly disapproving. I have never understood the desire to alter one's state of mind, especially on a Federation starship. What if something were to go wrong during this relaxation? Guinan leans on the bar, smiling knowingly. It's all about balance, Worf. Just like with anything, moderation is key. Think of it as a new form of bonding for the crew. Data interjecting. I am fascinated by the biochemical effects of cannabis on human neurological function. However, I would like to discuss possible adverse reactions. I have observed an increase in laughter and a decrease in focus among some crew members. Are those responses typical? Geordie, grinning. Well, yeah, Data, that's the point. It helps us unwind. But you do raise a good concern. We have to be careful not to let it interfere with our duties, especially during a mission. Just then, Commander Riker and Captain Picard enter 10 Forward, both looking intrigued by the lively atmosphere. Captain Picard glances around, raises an eyebrow. Well, I see the crew is embracing this new policy. Commander Riker, smirking. Just don't keep the tricorder in your pocket during the next poker game. You might lose track of your chips, among other things. Suddenly, the ship's alarm goes off, startling everyone. Diana Troy rushes in from the adjoining room. Diana Troy says, looking concerned, Captain, we are receiving a distress signal from a nearby planet. The crew's readiness is critical. Worf stands straight, a mix of concern and urgency on his face. We will need to assess the crew's state of mind before critical operations. Captain Picard nodding resolutely. Very well, let's proceed. And scene. Scene. The bridge of the USS Enterprise D. The crew takes their stations. Picard walks to the center, looking intently at the view screen as the signal flashes up. The crew's demeanor shifts from leisure to focus. Data, calculating rapidly. The source of the distress signal indicates a shuttlecraft malfunction. The occupants may require immediate assistance. Geordie, fingers flying over the console. I can modify the tractor beam to stabilize their craft for retrieval. As they coordinate, it is apparent that some crew members struggle to remain attentive, occasionally letting their focus wane. Picard notices it and grimaces slightly, realizing they may not be fully alert. Captain Picard, addressing the crew. I need everyone to focus. This situation is critical. Suddenly, the shuttlecraft's helm becomes unstable due to interference. Alarms blare. Diana can feel the heightened anxiety among the crew. Diana Troy, calmly. Captain, I believe some crew members are struggling to stay alert. This is not the moment for distractions. Picard hurriedly decides to intervene. Captain Picard says, Commander Riker, I suggest we establish a protocol for using recreational cannabis when we are on duty. Perhaps a designated time could be beneficial. Riker nodding. You're right. While it's great for unwinding, we need to ensure it doesn't compromise our mission duties. Worf glancing at Geordi. Perhaps we should also limit the use of it prior to critical operations. Data offering insight. Additionally, it would be prudent to monitor the crew's reactions and behaviors closely after recreational use. A scientific approach may yield significant insights. And scene. Scene transition. Later in 10 forward. After a successful retrieval of the shuttlecraft, the mood has shifted. The crew mingles, reflecting on the day's events. Captain Picard stands speaking with Guinan. Guinan pouring a drink. So, Captain, do you think the crew will embrace the adjustments? Captain Picard smiling gently. I believe they will. Change can be difficult, but if it fosters responsibility, it can lead to a greater sense of community, and perhaps new levels of understanding. As the camera zooms out, we see crew members discussing the newly established protocols, laughter coupled with thoughtful conversation about mindfulness and responsibility. Scene transition. 10 forward, the USS Enterprise D. The ship continues to cruise through the starry expanse. The sounds of lively chatter and laughter fill 10 forward. The crew is engaged in discussions about the new regulations while enjoying the relaxed atmosphere of their lounge. The camera pans slowly around the room, showcasing various crew members integrating the use of cannabis responsibly as they share stories and camaraderie. Geordi LaForge raises his glass. You know, today was a real wake-up call. I think having these regulations will keep everything balanced. I don't want to ever be in a position where I'm impaired during a rescue operation again. Miles O'Brien nodding. A little moderation goes a long way. I think we'll benefit from having those designated relaxation hours. Maybe even a special holiday simulation for recreational recovery. Worf stands nearby, still seeming somewhat skeptical, but more relaxed than before, observing the enjoyment of his colleagues. Worf grunting. As long as the crew understands that we have Starfleet officers first and foremost, this may yet work. Diana Troy at Worf's side, smiling. You'd be surprised, Worf. It's important for us to connect and unwind. It strengthens our team. And if we can do it mindfully, it might actually enhance our performance when it truly counts. Just as the atmosphere takes a light-hearted turn, an alarm suddenly sounds, cutting through the laughter. Emergency alert over the ship's comm system. All hands, red alert. Intruder alert on Deck 7. Containment protocols activated. Security teams report to Deck 7 immediately. Captain Picard and Commander Riker quickly return to the center of the lounge, the atmosphere instantly changing from relaxation to urgency. Captain Picard commanding. All right, we need to move quickly. Security, dispatch immediately. Worf, you're with me. Worf nods. Ready for action. Yes, sir. As the crew responds to the alert, the camera follows them swiftly to Deck 7, where it becomes apparent that a group of Ferengi has attempted to board the Enterprise, apparently drawn by rumours of the newly legalized cannabis on board. Those Ferengi, eh? Scene transition, Deck 7, USS Enterprise D. The team arrives at Deck 7 to find the Ferengi trying to negotiate with some of the crew members who were using cannabis earlier. The air is tense as the crew tries to protect the ship. The Ferengi leader, grinning. We hear you have a new form of recreational substance. We've come to sell you our latest acquisition, one that's far superior. Worf growling. You will regret your intrusion. Commander Riker steps forward, taking the lead in negotiating, while Picard observes the unfolding situation with keen eyes. Commander Riker calmly. You're not welcome here. Leave at once, or we will be forced to take action. Ferengi leader laughs condescendingly. What are you going to do? All of your crew is too busy enjoying this new policy to notice what's going on. Just as the Ferengi attempt to grab the cannabis held by some of the crew, a ripple of actions unfolds. Some crew members inadvertently react in a dazed but protective manner, leading to a chaotic scuffle that reflects what has been dubbed the Canna Scuffle. Scene. The aftermath. 10 forward. After a successful deferment of the Ferengi and restoring order, the crew gathers back in 10 forward, a little shaken but relieved. Picard and Riker stand before the crew, addressing the situation with a sense of leadership and reflection. Captain Picard, a mix of sternness and understanding. Crew, I commend those who acted swiftly today, but we must recognize that our decisions surrounding cannabis require more than just regulations. The intruders took our relaxed state as an opportunity, and we cannot let that happen again. Riker nodding in agreement. We must ensure that while we enjoy our freedoms, we remain vigilant and responsible. I propose we establish new protocols for crew readiness and a spacing of recreational hours that align with mission-critical duties. Data considering. This incident offers an insightful analysis of risk management. Establishing a baseline for readiness levels post-recreational use could be beneficial. Dr. Crusher joining in. I can help design educational seminars to ensure that crew members understand both the benefits and responsibilities tied to recreational cannabis. And scene. Conclusion. 10 forward unity. The crew responds with murmurs of approval and agreement. A sense of purpose fills the room as they begin discussing responsible usage policy and how they can make this regulation with communal input. Guinan, with a knowing smile, says, "Sometimes it takes a bit of chaos to remind us of the importance of community and responsibility. This newfound freedom should bring us together, not divide us." The atmosphere in 10 forward shifts again, with the crew beginning to brainstorm ideas and policies on how to better integrate the use of recreational cannabis while maintaining professionalism. Worf crossing his arms, but shifting toward a more open posture. Perhaps we should initiate a policy that limits the consumption of cannabis to specific hours and ensures that all security personnel undergo reinforcement training regarding alertness protocols. Geordie LaForge chiming in. I can work with the engineering team to develop a system to monitor crew readiness, so we know when it's safe to engage in recreational activities without compromising our duties. Troy, smiling warmly. That's a great idea, Geordie. Additionally, we could hold regular meetings to discuss experiences, any issues that arise, and how we can all adjust as needed. Dr. Crusher, thoughtfully. And we could implement a buddy system, assigning crew members to look out for each other, especially during critical duties. Support is key. And scene. Transition. Weeks later, 10 forward. Days turn into weeks as the crew has been diligently implementing the new policies, holding sessions on responsible cannabis use and discussing their experiences regularly. The lounge atmosphere is noticeably more vibrant, yet grounded. Captain Picard stands at the front, preparing to address the entire crew once more. Captain Picard clearing his throat. Crew, I wanted to take a moment to reflect on the changes we've made since the introduction of our cannabis policy. Through our teamwork and dedication, we've managed to set a responsible precedent without sacrificing our essential duties. The crew, gathered in 10 forward, listens with rapt attention, feeling proud of their progress. Riker, continuing after Picard. And as we navigated these new waters, we've shown that we can embrace new experiences while remaining devoted to our mission. Our readiness and camaraderie have only increased. Data nods in agreement. I have observed a positive correlation between our structured approach to recreational use and the morale of the crew. Coordination within the team has improved significantly. Gainan, smiling knowingly across the room. And that's the beauty of exploration, isn't it? Learning, growing, and becoming better together. The crew starts clapping softly, encouraging each other and reaffirming that the bond that has been strengthened through their shared experiences. And scene. The holodeck. Later that day, the crew decides to celebrate their success with a new holodeck program specifically designed for relaxation and mindfulness. The environment is another world, lush, serene, and full of soft glowing plants and gentle streams. Crew members wander in, each finding their own space to appreciate the moment. Diana Troy, sipping tea, her surroundings peaceful. I think it's wonderful to see everyone embracing this new experience in such a thoughtful way. We've truly turned a potential pitfall into an opportunity for understanding. Geordie, stretching contentedly. I'm enjoying the benefits of being responsible about it. It's nice to connect without the chaos. Data, observing the crew. It appears that we have indeed found a balance. The synthesis between recreational use and duty has been successfully cultivated through our discussions and feedback. Worf enters, unexpectedly smiling a little as he takes in the tranquil ambience, which completely contrasts his early opinions. Worf grudgingly. Perhaps some relaxation is not entirely detrimental, just as long as I am not expected to participate in the activities directly, as I have certain principles. The crew chuckles, and a sense of unity washes over them, reflecting their growth. They settle into a circle, sharing stories and experiences, reconnecting in a meaningful way. Captain Picard, watching the scene unfold with a satisfied smile. Whatever challenges lie ahead, we tackle them together. That is the essence of being part of the Federation. As the camera pulls back, the melodic sounds of laughter and conversation fill the air. The Enterprise glides through the cosmos, embodying the spirit of exploration, growth, and the endless possibilities that await them. Fade out as the iconic Star Trek theme echoes softly in the background, affirming the journey they undertake together, both as individuals and as a unified crew. Roll credits. So, there you go. Episode 2 of Stardawg Trek. Makes a change from the recent prohibitionist messaging of my other fanfiction videos, doesn't it? Here we got to see how legal regulations can really work for a community and how things can be corrected if they go awry. Well, that's it from me for today. See you on Saturday for the live at 7 PM and look forward to Saturday's long form video, which will be Superhero Weed 2. This time, the heroes will get the weed powers, not the villain. Catch you on the shorts in between. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to Legalize. And I've been Shiva Wilson, and we've been campaigning to legalize adult use cannabis in the UK. Catch you on the flip side. Good night.